We're tracking big developments that will shape the future of Puget Sound.
Just hours ago, state lawmakers passed a permanent ban on commercial net pens such as these used to farm non-native salmon.
The industry has come under heavy criticism after this Cook aquaculture pen collapsed last summer, spilling tens of thousands of Atlantic salmon into Puget Sound. The bill passed today will phase out the net pens when their current leases run out in the year 2025. It now goes to Governor Inslee for his signature.
And Mary, we just got a response from Cook Aquaculture tonight. It says, "We are deeply disappointed in the action taken by the legislature today and the potential impact it could have on Washington's 30-year salmon farming industry and the more than 600 rural workers and their families that rely upon salmon farming for their livelihoods." The company says it is now reevaluating its place in Washington state, but any decision will put its employees first. We've just learned a suspected gunman at Central Michigan University is now in custody. The local dispatcher confirms 19-year-old James Davis Jr. was arrested about an hour ago. Davis Jr. is accused of killing his parents this morning inside a dorm building on campus. And tonight, we've learned his father was a part-time police officer in the Chicago suburbs.
New charging documents reveal a second school was named in a foiled attack plot in Everett, and the young suspect flipped a coin to decide which school to target. Prosecutors say Joshua O'Connor took substantial steps toward committing mass murder as they released his journal entries today. His grandmother found the journal as well as a rifle in his bedroom, and she called police who arrested O'Connor last month before the plot could be carried out. In one of the journal entries, the suspect was deciding whether to attack his current school, Aces High School, or Kamiak High, which he previously attended, and flipped a coin to settle on Aces. Prosecutors say the journal also included a to-do list with the guns, ammunition, and explosives he wanted to get his hands on. Another entry listed a plan for how he would carry out the attack and how long it would take police to get there from the closest police station. Prosecutors say the suspect also wrote about being depressed and having mental illness. In the last entry, prosecutors say the suspect bragged about robbing this gas station. They believe he did it to get money for his plot to shoot up a school. O'Connor is charged with attempted first-degree murder, first-degree robbery, and possession of explosives. Seattle police say the city is a little safer tonight after it became the first in the state to force a man to surrender his gun, all because of a new law. Komo's Joel Marino is live in Belltown to explain how extreme risk protection orders can potentially save lives. Joel?
Mary, neighbors say a man had been intimidating people right out here for the past year, even staring down customers through storefront windows with a gun holstered on his side. Now, mental illness is suspected, but that new law gave police the legal authority to disarm him.
He was roaming the hallways with a 25 caliber automatic, and it created a lot of fear, obviously, because I didn't know if he was coming after me or if he was going to just start shooting the place up.
It wasn't just in this apartment complex that Seattle police say a man was stirring fears. The man, who we're not naming, is well known to the bars and restaurants below his unit. The complaints convinced Seattle police to seek an extreme risk protection order, or ERPO, which allows them to legally remove guns from people deemed a danger to themselves or others. In this case, the man refused to comply, but because of the new law, police then showed up with a warrant and forced the man to surrender the firearm.
This is a perfect case in point where it's had some efficacy, if you will, as far as there was an immediate crisis and law enforcement was able to remove his firearms. So very well could have saved lives.
Well, a few dozen ERPOs have been served and executed throughout the state, but Seattle police say they are the only agency so far to seize a gun because the owner refused to hand it over. Morgan?
All right, Joel breaking it down. Thanks. And police say these specialized orders could be a way to try and prevent mass shootings, such as what happened in Parkland, Florida.
Prior to this, we had no legal standing if they called us up 2 months later, a week later, 6 months later, and said, I would like my firearm back. We had no legal standing to hold on to it.
The confiscations only last 1 year, however, they can be renewed. Washington is not the only state using these extreme risk protection orders. California, Oregon, and Indiana all have similar laws. And in Texas, a person can't have a gun under certain conditions, such as a psychiatric disorder or pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, the NRA has previously spoken out against the laws, saying they, quote, strip the accused of their Second Amendment rights.
It's still unclear where President Trump stands on gun control measures. He hasn't released any firm proposals after his late-night meeting with NRA leaders yesterday. Trump previously signaled he was open to raising the legal purchase age of a gun to 21. Today, White House spokesperson Sarah Sanders said he still supports that concept, but it may be an issue that's better left for states to decide.
And tonight, Delta Airlines is clarifying it wants to stay neutral on the gun control issue after it ended a discount program for all NRA members. Company sent a memo to employees today saying it supports the Second Amendment and recognizes employees and customers have a wide range of political views. This all comes after Georgia Republicans got rid of a tax exemption on jet fuel, costing Delta close to $50 million.
A powerful nor'easter has knocked out power to nearly 2 million homes and businesses tonight, and the already storm-battered Atlantic coast just got hit by another high tide a short time ago. New video shows the power poles that came crashing down in hurricane-force winds east of Boston today. A fifth person has been killed by falling trees. The victims include 2 boys in Virginia and New York. And Morgan, we're seeing some of the images of rescues playing out across the East Coast.
There are a lot of them, Mary. We've been watching scenes such as this play out all night long in Massachusetts. Rescuers loading children onto a front loader to save them from the rising floodwaters. One police department posted another video of rescuers unloading evacuated children and pets off a truck, passing them from person to person. And this is what it looked like earlier as a storm surge rushed in, pummeling the coast. And to give you an idea of just how strong the winds are, take a look at this tweet from the National Weather Service. Dulles Airport reported gusts of over 50 miles an hour for 12 hours straight. That is rare. Things should start to calm down tomorrow, but we'll be watching for updates on the damage and the impact overnight.
Undercover detectives rescued nearly a dozen women from prostitution and human trafficking at a truck stop in Pierce County. Komo's Tammy Mutas is live along I-5, where investigators say the problem is rampant in our area. Tammy?
Yeah, Mary, that's right. And that's why detectives set up an undercover base at one of those truck stops along the I-5 corridor looking for human trafficking victims and their johns. And what detectives found even shocked them.
It's a violent industry, so we want to try to get them out of that. Even with the resources we had and the motivation, we were just overwhelmed, inundated.
Investigators say the prostitution problem along the I-5 corridor is so rampant, it didn't take long for undercover detectives to run out of manpower for Operation Human Freight. WSP detectives say within 4 hours, they picked up 7 prostitution victims and 3 trafficking victims that met through online ads or in person. Investigators say one of the victims had even been raped earlier in the night, but continued working. Detectives say they plan to take the operation around the state to help women find a way out and hold the Johns more accountable.
I haven't met a survivor that wants to be in this business. I have not met one. And I've had numerous opportunities to go around the nation and listen to these heroic stories of survival. And these women don't want to be in that.
And detectives tell me they also worked with advocates and former survivors of prostitution to get these women food, clothing, and blankets. And detectives also say not one of them was arrested that night unless they had a prior felony warrant. Morgan?
Tammy, thank you. And the pimps and johns arrested in today's operation now face multiple charges, including promoting and soliciting prostitution, as well as drug possession.
Bellingham Police Department is asking an outside agency to review the arrests of 3 officers for alleged assault. In a statement, Bellingham Police Chief David Dahl says in part, quote, "We commit to transparent processes to assure our community that we hold our employees accountable for their actions, whether committed on or off duty." 2 of the officers were arrested for domestic violence incidents against women. The third is accused of beating 2 men and making death threats. This investigation will help determine whether any disciplinary action will be taken.
Tonight, the Snohomish County Wildlife Center is offering a $5,000 reward to help catch the poacher that killed a group of snow geese. We're not showing the most graphic pictures tonight, but we should warn you, some may be disturbing. The Sarvey Wildlife Care Center says these x-rays show the geese were shot multiple times. They were found dumped by the side of the road near Mount Vernon today.
A couple of them actually had been decapitated. They had been shot so badly.
While it is not illegal to hunt snow geese in Washington state, the Department of Fish and Wildlife says their hunting season ended on January 28th. Sarvey Wildlife adds these snow geese appear to be fresh kills. Another $5,000 reward still stands for help catching the person who shot a bald eagle in Snohomish County back in January. The bird died while in Sarvy's care. Killing a bald eagle is a state and federal crime.
Coming up, the countdown to Oscar Sunday. Komo's Kelly Koopmans is on the red carpet tonight to explain why it's covered up. Plus, an alert about salmonella linked to a national outbreak. The product that experts are telling people in Washington not to buy in any form. Plus, the window is now officially closed. What's happening tomorrow for people who didn't put a deposit on season tickets for a Seattle NHL team?
And let's take a look around the neighborhood, see what the temperatures look like. It's going to be a little bit on the cold side, but don't despair. If you want some sun and warmer temperatures, we can do that over the weekend. I'll give you all the details. That's coming up in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Steve. And a check of the feeds when we come back. We're checking the feeds, and this is a live look outside the Dolby Theater. We're less than 48 hours away from Hollywood's biggest night. And tonight, Komo's Kelly Koopmans is on the red carpet as we count down to Oscar Sunday. She has a sneak peek at the setup that is still underway.
Good evening, and let us be the first to welcome you to what will be the site of the 90th Academy Awards. We just got in here into Los Angeles not too long ago, and you know what? We brought a little bit of Seattle with us. You can tell right now as you take a look at the Dolby Theater, and you know what? We have a tarp over the red carpet that is already laid out and ready for all the stars to make that catwalk come Sunday. Now, we are going to be on the red carpet tomorrow, bringing you all the action and then into Sunday. And this, of course, is the second year that we are welcoming Jimmy Kimmel as a host. And you may remember, what could possibly go wrong? We had a big whoopsie last year. He says this year we can expect some unscripted moments as well. We'll bring you all the action. In fact, we will hear from Jimmy, who got his start in Seattle, about how that experience leads up to all of this. We'll bring you all the action from the red carpet. I'm Kelly Koopmans in Hollywood. Back to you.
Having a nice assignment, Kelly. Thanks. And we can expect to see more colorful fashion on the red carpet on Sunday compared to the blackout at this year's Golden Globes. Organizers of the Time's Up movement say there are currently no plans for an Oscars dress code to shed light on discrimination and sexual harassment, but the message will have a presence there. We've also learned Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway could get a shot at Redemption Sunday. They're reportedly returning to present Best Picture. You may remember last year, of course, they were handed the wrong envelope, then announced the wrong film as the winner, La La Land. And there are new balloting procedures this year to hopefully prevent another snafu. And be sure to head to KomoNews.com for all things Oscar. You can print out a ballot or vote for your favorite movies and actors in our Oscar polls. And you can also tweet along with us Sunday using the hashtag OscarsOnKomo.
Cases of salmonella linked to the herb kratom have been confirmed here in Washington. Now the state health department is warning people to avoid it. Kratom is a controversial plant used by some as an opioid substitute. The state health department says 3 people have gotten sick. 2 of them were hospitalized.
The Washington State Department of Health is following the CDC and FDA guidance that people not consume kratom in any form at this time because we don't know exactly what brand or supplier it's coming from with the salmonella contamination.
Of those 3 patients, 1 is from Clark County, 1 from Walla Walla County, and the 3rd from King County. Across the country, 28 people in 20 states have reported a salmonella infection.
One of the worst flu seasons on record is finally coming to an end. Today, the CDC announced flu cases started declining in early February. But while it's going down, it's not quite over yet. 32 states reported high flu activity last week. Washington State, not one of them. In fact, our state is one of only 9 states reporting low or minimal flu activity.
If you bought a high chair from Walmart in the last couple of years, listen up. Graco is recalling its table-to-table 6-in-1 high chair. It was exclusively sold at Walmart between October of 2016 and December of 2017. Graco says one of the back legs can turn out of position and cause the chair to fall. You can contact Graco for a free repair kit. Yesterday, we told you about an attempted kidnapping at a Kirkland park. Tonight, the mother describes the terrifying moments when she confronted the stranger trying to take her 2-year-old.
I happened to look up and saw my mom chasing a woman who was carrying my son, and I was out the door of the car with my daughter in my right hand, and I was running at top speed towards her. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, let go of my child.
Brooke asked us not to show her face for protection. She says she chased the suspect down and quickly freed her son. That suspect refused to appear in court today and faces charges for kidnapping and assault. Investigators described the woman as homeless and mentally ill. Another hearing is expected tomorrow.
Do you recognize this guy? Take a look. Seattle police are hoping someone knows something about this pretty brazen break-in at Fisherman's Terminal yesterday. The boat owner says she got an alert just before 7 a.m. Her camera detected motion. The video shows the suspect rummaging right through the boat's cockpit and prying open the main cabin door. Police say so far this is the only victim to report a burglary, but it is very possible there are even more victims.
All right, Steve. For reasons unknown, this week felt like a long one, and it's finally Friday, and I'm so looking forward to the weekend weather.
We had so much of everything.
A little bit.
You know, now we can calm things down a little bit. In fact, let me show you on the radar here, and we haven't seen this in a while around here. There's just very little there, so that tells a story right there, doesn't it? All right, let's talk about how your weekend is going to unfold here. First of all, let's deal with what's happening right now. It's still kind of cool, all right, even chilly. 39 degrees at this point with a northeasterly wind. And when we start tomorrow morning, yeah, you probably need to have a coat when you head out the door. But we are going to warm up more than we have been doing recently, and that's a plus given that it's the weekend. All right, let's take a look at your Saturday. We're going to start our day off at around 36 degrees. I know, it's kind of chilly. At noon, 46, and at 5 p.m. we'll be at about 48 degrees. Now, you notice we've got some sun in there as well as maybe a couple of showers. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that. It should be a fairly comfortable, nice weekend for you, and we don't have to worry too much about anything coming inclemently from the sky, so to speak. All right, so let's talk about what does all that mean in terms of what you need to know. Well, let's go right to the temperatures, and we'll see what's happening tomorrow. If you live in the central Puget Sound Basin here, we're talking somewhere in the upper 40s, maybe into the low 50s. Kind of depends on where you live, but it's definitely warmer than what we've been going through here lately. Here's what's happening with the temperatures throughout our northern reaches and along the Strait of Juan de Fuca. There we've got you in the mid-40s for the most part, although some of you might get into about 47, 48 degrees. To the south and over on the coasts, we're talking into the low 50s for some of you folks. So lots of things working in a nice way to give us more sunshine and to kind of hold off on the rain. Yay. All right, let's see what's going on elsewhere around western Washington and into eastern Washington as well. We're talking about temperatures there, kind of a bit of a range there, a little cooler in Spokane, a little warmer once you get down into the southern portions of eastern Washington around Walla Walla. And the mountains, if you're heading there, skiers and snowboarders, there's plenty of snow up there. Enjoy yourselves. We've got temperatures generally in the mountain passes somewhere around freezing. All right, so let's pull all this together for you. Tonight, well, we're just talking about a chilly night. It's going to be partly to mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, I expect we're going to get things rolling here with a little bit of sun, maybe a couple of showers, but not much. I think we're in fairly good shape. Tomorrow's high, right around 49 to 50 degrees. I'll be back with a 7-day outlook in just a few minutes. We'll see if we can kind of hold on to all of this. Don't go away. We'll be back.
Let's hope so, Steve. Thanks. 2 years from now, we could be seeing hockey right inside a new Key Arena. A season ticket drive ended this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Group behind NHL Seattle says it'll be starting a wait list tomorrow at 8 a.m. More than 32,000 people put money down in just the first 24 hours. The goal, just 10,000. And we're still waiting for an update on a final tally.
So cool. Can't wait for hockey night in Seattle. The Mariners get another good performance from one of their starters, and it's state semifinal Friday in Tacoma. Who will play for a championship tomorrow? That's coming up next in sports.
And now, Xfinity presents the Komo Sports Desk with Mike Ferrari.
Well, the Mariners are pleased with what they have seen so far in spring training from potential starter Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez got his second start of the spring today as the Mariners took on the Brewers in Maryville. Bottom of the first, he strikes out Domingo Santana. He was only getting warmed up. Gonzalez feeling real confident coming into camp this year. In the second, he gets Kyle Wren. Gonzalez ends up going 3 innings, gives up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, and he struck out 4. Mariners were down 2-0 in the 5th when Dan Vogelbach, fighting for a job at first base, delivers a 3-run home run over the right center field wall. The Mariners win today over the Brewers by a final of 4-2. Opening round of the Huskies Softball Classic on Montlake this afternoon. Number 1, 18-0 Washington taking on 11th-ranked Alabama. About in the first with a runner on, Julia DuPont drills a pitch deep to center for a 2-run home run. 2-0 Huskies. Same inning. Tarni Atley is going to steal second. The ball, watch this, is going to bounce off her helmet. She's okay, and that's okay because that allows Emma Helm to score from second base. 3-0 after the first inning. The UW goes on to win at 8-0. Huskies also beat Northwestern tonight, 8-2. Well, semifinal Friday in the state basketball championships. Teams that win today play for a championship tomorrow. Federal Way and boys 4A facing Lewis and Clark. Coach Collins going with a long coat and vest combo tonight, looking good. Eagles trailed by 10 after the first quarter, but got going in the second quarter. Jaden McDaniels goes baseline for 2 of his game-high 27. Eagles by 5 at the half. Second half, Federal Way too much for the Tigers. Eaton Collins drives down the lane for the easy bucket. Eagles soar, 62-53. They're going to take on Gonzaga Prep, who was a winner at the buzzer for the 4A title tomorrow. In 1-3A boys semi, Rainier Beach took on a Lincoln team hungry for a state title. That's Coach Aubrey Shelton leading the Abe's right there in the middle. This game would go back and forth. Trey Anderson of Beach takes it to the hoop and scores. He had a game-high 27. Beach was down by 6. Later in the first half, Kashad Babbs with the drive and the score for the Abes. Well done. Lincoln by 6 at halftime, but the Vikings, they come back. Defense is going to lead to some offense here. Kenny Curtis with the steal and the score on the other end. Rainier Beach beats Lincoln 73-67. They'll get Garfield now for the state title because state 3A basketball semi this afternoon was Garfield and Brandon Roy taking on Eastside Catholic. Fourth quarter, Crusaders keeping it close. Brock McKenzie with the pull-up jumper. He had 21, made it a 3-point game with only 2 minutes left. But in the end, Garfield wouldn't budge. Pierce Cockrell Jr. drives down the lane. He's going to score. Garfield headed for the 3A title game, as I said, tomorrow with a 56-48 win. They're going to get Beach. Garfield girls facing Stanwood in the 3A girls semifinal. Close game going into the fourth quarter. That's when Garfield starts to pull away. Delia Daniels was terrific inside, clears some space, drives and scores. Garfield up by 5. Late in the fourth, Daniels again, this time a baseline jumper. She finishes with 21. Garfield gets to win 46-40. She's good. They'll join the Garfield boys on Championship Saturday. So who will Garfield face? West Seattle, Gig Harbor met in the other 3A semi tonight. Tides took control early in this one. Brenna Maxwell spots up from Gig Harbor right next to that HGTV Dream House. Nails a 3, a 16-4 lead in the first. Later on, Maxwell again, this time a drive to the bucket for the score. She finishes with a game-high 24. Tides win it 55-46. They play Garfield tomorrow for the big trophy. And Eastlake and Woodinville needed overtime to decide a winner. Eastlake with the ball and a 1-point lead, but the ball gets away from the Wolves. Stolen by Woodinville's Nikki Zabak. She takes it the other way for the layup. Falcons are going to take the 1-point lead, getting away from Eastlake. Last chance for Eastlake to maybe get a miracle shot here off the missed foul shot. They're not going to get the desperation shot at the buzzer. Woodinville survives again, 80-78. They'll play for the 4A title tomorrow against Central Valley. And well done by our sports shooter, Paul Kinke, who's been down there in Tacoma for the past 3 days shooting all those highlights. Sometimes mistakes work out for the better. It's your play of the night, college hoops. Bowling Green in Buffalo. Buffalo's C.J. Massenberg thinks he's making a pass up the court. I'll take this anytime. Goes right in. He thinks he's running the fast break. Here you go, teammate. Oh, I'm sorry I missed you, but that's okay. It went in. Just get the job done. It's your play of the night. You know, Steve, just throw it up there sometimes.
Yeah, I know. It's my kind of mistake, you know. Turned out really good. Right. All right, let's take a look at the 7-day outlook. Hey, we're going to get a little bit more in the way of sun coming in here. At the same time, we do have some rain. Interestingly, it'll be on Sunday, right about the time that the Oscars is on. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks so much, you guys. We'll be right back. Thanks so much for watching. Jimmy Kimmel's coming up next. Have a good weekend.
Good night.
Good night.
See ya.
Good night.
Comedians.